Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Happy Tuesday, everybody. I always have like this issue. I should do my hair properly before we start, so I'm not still fanning around with my like top knot. But good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Show Up, Wise Up, Rise Up show with me, your host, Dani Wallace. I hope you are all well. Come on in here. Let's get a cuddle. We are now streaming across 5 different platforms. So we're streaming into the Queen Bee Dani page. We're on my personal profile. We're also in the IATQB Hive. We're also watching on YouTube, and also we are watching on Twitch, which is a new platform. Or a new platform to me. But let me know out there, whereabouts are you watching? Where is the destination? If you are watching within the IATQB Hive, which is a group, you will need to click on the title, which will say give StreamYard permission for us to see your name. Otherwise, it's going to look like this. So we've got Facebook user. I don't know who's first off the mark. So Facebook user is saying morning gorgeous. Facebook user, do us a favor so we know who you are. Go to the title of the live and just click give StreamYard permission so that it doesn't look like you've blocked me. All right, so we've got good morning, Annie Cameron in the house. Ian Dixon, who's joining us this Friday. Really excited about this Friday's episode of Show Wise Up, Rise Up with a fabulous, incredible business coach. Ian Dixon is going to be talking to us about all things business. Good morning, Gemma Roberts. We've got my sister in the house this morning. Good morning, my angel. How are you? Emma Roscoe. Emma Roscoe, you are slow off the doors this morning. Normally, you're the first one in to comment. How are you, darling? Welcome to the show. How are we? How are we feeling? Are you ready for the shit weather? I'm looking outside in Preston. It is officially a bit shit in Preston. Look, we've got an it's a bit shitby, and it's going in the Preston area, which is just around here. Cold. It's a bit cold and it's a bit rubbish, isn't it, Bubbles? So what is it like where you are? See, if you've never watched this before, this is not the proper meteorological weather. I am not a proper weather girl. We have a naked... say good morning to everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Are you going to go for your breakfast? Yeah, Daddy's woke up now. That's good. Yeah, maybe get dressed. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I know some kids have gone back to school now if they're in year 6 or if they're in, if they're in year 1. But has anybody stopped wearing pants? She has stopped wearing pants. She stopped wearing clothes. She's got a knickers on. That's it. Like my elder 2 are the same. They're both like 12 and 10. And Wallace has stopped wearing pants now. Like everyone in this house is like, I just then. Don't give his secrets away. He'll go mad. So what are things like where you are? Good morning. I don't know who the Facebook user is. If you are just joining us, please make sure that you click StreamYard and give them permission. It'll just be in the title of this live, and you can just click I give StreamYard permission. Give me 1 second. So Facebook user is saying that it's hot, 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 but I don't know where. So whereabouts are you? It is sunshiny. Now I know where Ian is. It is Scorchio around here. Go get out of the bed with Daddy. All right, he's getting up. Good. Because she's just like hovering in the corner of the screen. Good morning, Hannah. How are you? Commando is the way forward. They're not like Commando. I mean, they have knickers on. It's just it's like a no trouser situation in our house. I'm Commando. Are you Commando? Oh God, cover your eyes, everybody. Wallace is about to go past. He's not. He has shorts on. He's squeezing past you, try to get out of there. You've got pants on. That's a disappointment. Where else is everybody? Well, don't you dare. Oh my God, it's a morning show. We're not going to make this not safe for work. Good morning, Lydia. How are you, my angel? Come on in. Tell us what the weather's like where you are, and I will pop you onto our fake weather map. It is so lovely to see a little smiley face. It is lovely, isn't it? She's a lovely little, like a pixie. You know, she's one of them. She's that cute. You want to do that to it. I'm only joking. It's not that. Do you know that's an actual thing, though, where you want to bite him? Only don't, because that's illegal. But you know what I mean? It's a thing. Oh, God, I'm just digging myself a hole, aren't I? Bexhill-on-Sea is sunny. It's sunny on the East Coast. It's Scorchio. We have some Scorchio bees. We're going to pop on the map. On the East Coast over here. Bexhill-on-Sea. I should know this by now, Hannah. Where is Bexhill-on-Sea? It's in the south, is it not? It is Scorchio in Birmingham, Brighton to the left. There we go. Scorchio. Well, you Scorchio everywhere apart from in Preston. In Birmingham, we've got Scorchio in Birmingham. Blue skies. Good morning, Joe Pollard. Hello, my darling. It's a bit grey in Oldham. It's like near us, isn't it? So we'll do that. It's a bit shit like that there. Blue skies and warm in Harwich. Scorchio in Hertfordshire down here. Make sure that little bee sticks on. It's a bit grey but not chilly. It's hot in Dover in Kent. Scorchio over in Kent. Look at this. So we can now see, because you've all got amongst this, that we have a warm bottom this morning and we have, it's a bit shit up top. If you are anywhere else in the world, please do tell us whereabouts you are. If you are international, we will represent you, but over at this side in the sea, just because we've not got so far as having a big world map, and it's easy. It's just to the UK where the map at the moment. It is Frio. What's Frio in Preston? Joe, by the way, I am absolutely digging on your shoulder pads in your profile picture. How are we all doing this morning? I am so excited to bring our guest onto the show this morning. When we first got in touch with each other, and when I first started the show, she was like, Dani, it would be cool, like, if I could come onto your show. And I was like, yes. The only problem we're going to have with this particular guest this morning is I don't think an hour is going to be long enough. We have got so much to talk about. She is one of the most interesting and inspirational people I have the pleasure to know. We have got so much to talk about. She is so inspirational. Make sure you've got yourself a brew. Make sure you're comfortable. We have got the next just shy of an hour together. Good morning, Kirsty. Scorchio in South Wales. I think we got it. There we go. Little bee in the South Wales there. So make sure you're comfortable, and in lieu, of course, of the applause button, make sure you're hitting the like, the love, the share button so we can reach as many people as possible. We need to share this lady with as many people as we could possibly reach. You will find out why over the course of the next hour. In the meantime, please welcome to the show at Rise Up Show, the fantastic Lizi Jackson-Barrett. Good morning.
Dani, can I just take you everywhere with me to introduce me? Like literally every time I'm about to walk into a room, can I just send you in first?
We can record. We can record a little bring you on stage thing.
Yeah, that works for me.
Please welcome the incredible. And it's true. So we have lots and lots of guests. Of course, over the last 15 weeks, we've had loads of guests on the show, and all of them in their own right have been, inspirational, educational, motivational. And you are this amazing bundle of all three.
Oh, you.
Every time I come across you, every time I see you post, every time I, see your book or see you speak, you are just ripping up trees wherever you are, in the UK or indeed in the world if you're online. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dani. I've got to admit, like I was saying to you just before we went live, it's been a while since I've got up early in the morning, since the kids have been off school, and there's not many people I'd be setting my alarm for 7 o'clock for these days.
I'm so
definitely one.
And I was saying to you, the only reason why I'm up at this time is because I've committed to doing this. If I had not have committed to doing this, I would definitely not be out of bed right now. I would still be snoring away like a Wallace behind me. So, Lizi, thanks so much for joining us. We have a really loose format to the show, but generally this show is about us kind of getting ready for the day together, sort of waking up, sharing our stories, and helping people feel a little bit more positive about the day in response to the media, which the media is a bit shit. It's a bit, depressing. And I got sick of, in the run up to doing this, Piers Morgan arguing with his guests. I'm like, I don't want to argue with my guests.
No,
I want my guests to come on and lift everybody up as well as me and themselves. Yeah. So that's the premise. But how do we meet? How do we get to here?
Well, it's funny because I feel like you've been on in my world for a really long time, and actually you haven't, have you? So we've got this shared connection, the amazing, wonderful woman, Lee Howes, who is my business coach. And I know you kind of met her through sort of business in a business sense.
Yeah, we were on a
And
mastermind together. She's incredible.
so as my coach, as part of kind of working on where I'm taking what I do in my business, Lee knows that one of my big things is getting onto stages and speaking more. And she said to me, you've got to speak to my girl, Dani. And that was how we connected, wasn't it, on Facebook? And we had that introduction to each other there. We've had like a 3-second hug in real life, haven't we? And then
Like
went our
just
separate ways.
pre-corona, before you couldn't hug anybody.
Yeah, yeah, you were probably my last hug
you.
outside my own family.
I'm so grateful, because it was a proper good squish as well. Like I was
It
here
was,
for the
yeah,
squish.
yeah. It's all about the boobs, isn't it? With a good
That's it.
squish.
You've got to have a booby squish. Like people with boobs know. Like when you hug someone else with boobs and you give them a squish, there's a whole new level of hug that you get from a boob.
Agreed.
So Lizi, it hasn't been that long since we've known each other, but we kind of burst onto each other's, like, into each other's worlds. And one of the things that I love about you is how completely authentically you hold yourself, and how completely authentically you share different aspects of your story and your philosophies. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Right. Well, in terms of the sharing, it's all about kind of body confidence, and that's where I am. It's about helping women to just stop that thing that we all do about trying to change and feeling like that's our job as women, to be aiming for the next change all the time, to lose a bit more weight, or have whiter teeth, or a smaller nose, or longer hair, or whatever it is, just that thing we're supposed to be doing, because as women we're told that the most important job we've got in the world is to make ourselves pretty for other people to look at. And so what I do in a nutshell is I help women stop feeling like that, and start feeling like, actually, the way I am right here and right now doesn't fit into all these little boxes that we're supposed to tick, and yet I'm still beautiful anyway, exactly the way I am. So that's what I do. And obviously I've been through my own journey of not looking the way women
it's
are
like an
supposed to
elephant in
look.
the room, isn't it? Like, we are going to talk about this, like, this morning, because the way that you own the fact that you, like, quite obviously don't have any hair, but you own it in such a way that we're so blessed to, or in the Hive particularly, to know so many people with alopecia, so many people with different types of looks, I guess.
Yeah.
How did that come around? Because hair, I remember speaking to the incredible Victoria Lassort as well, who was one of our speakers for Be Inspired. Hair is a huge trigger for a lot of people around femininity, around how they look. How did you come to losing your hair? Has it always been like that? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's only been like this for 2.5 years. I haven't been bald for long at all. And I totally agree with occasionally curly if I manage to put the effort in. And I don't know who could be bothered with that. But I talk a lot about what I call the swishy girls at school. And you know who I mean by the swishy girls, with their hair that's like this effortless, shiny mane. Exactly. And for me, I always equated those girls and that hair with all this stuff I didn't have, like being popular and being fancied and being sporty and all this stuff that obviously now, of course, you're not more popular or more sporty because you've got straight shiny hair and not short frizzy hair. But for me, it became this real symbol of what I needed to be and what I aspired to be. It was all bound up in this hair that all these other girls had. So it's really ironic that I spent decades trying to emulate the hair that these other girls had, with the Brazilian keratin treatments and the straighteners and the dye and everything else.
Yeah.
And then when I was 40, I turned 40 2.5 years ago, and it was literally as I was getting ready for my 40th birthday party. I was sorting my hair out, and I found a patch about that big just on the side of my head there, where it was just smooth. There was nothing there. And that's kind of where it all started. And obviously it was absolutely terrifying. That's the only word I've got for it, is that I was absolutely just frightened beyond belief of what that meant for me and meant about me. And within 6 weeks, so by Christmas 2017, I'd lost all the hair on my head. It was really, really quick. So it meant that I had to completely rethink what I looked like, what it meant for me to be a woman, whether or not I could ever feel sexy and feminine and desirable and all those things. So that's kind of where it all started. So it's been, in terms of my own journey of feeling beautiful,
Yeah.
It's recent. It's like 2.5 years ago that all started.
So, like, do you mind me asking, did they get to the root of why it was that you were losing your hair? Was
The
it unknown?
roots,
Like,
good one.
part of this, it's like being the queen bee. Like, the puns are endless, aren't they?
So no, I've got alopecia, which actually I now know it's just a term that means hair loss. It's not really like a medical condition. Alopecia just means hair loss.
Yeah.
There are lots of different types of alopecia. So alopecia areata is where you have partial hair loss. Alopecia totalis is where you've got no hair on your head, and alopecia universalis, which is what I've got, is the one where you've got no hair anywhere, or as I call it, permanently spa ready.
Yes.
So it's a pretty good situation to be in.
Shave your legs.
I know. So the normal treatment when somebody starts to develop alopecia is to give steroids, because alopecia, it's an autoimmune response. It means that essentially it means that my immune system was recognizing my hair follicles as the enemy.
Right.
And exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So steroids can turn off that immune response. So I took all steroids and steroid shampoo and cream and everything else. But obviously it doesn't always work. And it didn't in my case. And it's a bit ironic, really, because an autoimmune response is your immune system working too hard and doing more than it's meant to. And on the flip side of it, I've also got a condition called a primary immune deficiency, where I don't make any antibodies or have any defense against infection and all sorts of things. So how is that fair? But it did mean that taking the steroids to try to stop my hair falling out was a risk for me, because it hampers any immune function you've got. So it was really this point where I thought, it's not working and I'm risking my health. I just need to stop taking these and start to learn to accept this is what I look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you look like is sodding glorious. And
Well,
this is one of the things that you talk about, isn't it? That's where that comes from. It's the inner work that you can do, and it's like Roald Dahl says, when you are kind, and when you've done the work on the inside, it comes out of your face like sunbeams, and that's exactly like you've got the sun just like shining across your face right now.
I've done quite well here.
So okay, so that happened, and all of the sort of they're coming to terms with that and what have you, and it's brought you to your work today, and your work today involves you speaking quite beautifully on feeling beautiful and what that looks like. You've got a book, which you should have just here like this.
As if look at that. It's like here it is.
I love it. So you've written a book. How did you come to write the book?
Well, to be completely honest, and obviously you know now everything I say is to be completely honest, because I'm a real
I would not expect you to come here and start lying to me.
No, that's right, exactly. So to be completely honest, the book started out as being written as a means to an end, because, like I said to you at the start of our conversation, one of my big dreams is to get onto big stages, and I mean big. The advice I was given is that to access those kind of events, you need to have a book, because it positions you as an authority in your field. So I was like, okay, then fine, I'll write a book. Yep. So I went off and found myself a book coach, actually a truly amazing woman. You know how these people just come into your life, don't they, who are meant to? So an amazing woman called Cassandra Farron, who is a book coach who coaches from a very kind of intuitive, kind of almost spiritual place of like, she got me to really tune into who's going to be reading this book and what does she need to hear from me, and it's not about me and my story, it's about my reader and what she needs from me. So she helped me to get this book out of my heart that I didn't even know was in there. And it was written, as I say, because then I could approach these events and say, I'm an author, here's my book, let me get on your stage. The truth is that actually the book has become so important to me, and I'm so glad I wrote it. The reviews on Amazon just blow me away. I am literally emailed about once a week by a woman who tells me the book has changed her life. I mean, that's huge. How can That's such a massive thing to hear. So actually, yeah, great. It's going to get me onto stages so I can be heard by lots of people all around the world. But equally, it's already making me be heard by lots of people around the world because they're reading it.
Yeah. And it's having
So
such
that's
a
the
huge
book.
impact as well. It is
Yeah.
amazing. So, and you've not long since, Jojo Hicks is just asking,
I've
what's
just
the
noticed
book
that.
called?
Yeah. Hi, Jojo. Thanks for asking, Jojo. It's called How to Feel Beautiful.
I'm going to model
So
it for you
I know
here.
because it's mirrored, I keep turning it the wrong way. And it does do what it says on the tin. So it is a mixture of me telling my own story from 11 years old, being told I wasn't beautiful enough, all the way up to now. But equally, as a coach, every chapter has got activities and practical tasks that the reader goes through as she reads the book. So when she reaches the end, she's kind of caught up with my journey and she's been on her own journey to then also feel beautiful too. So in a nutshell, that's the book, and it's available on Amazon.
On Amazon. I love it. I just love everything that you're doing. I love it. So you speak, you've got the book, and you coach people on
Yeah, and
how to feel beautiful. And this
yes,
is so important. It's not about the beauty side of things. We was talking, it was interesting. We had Jenna Rigby from Glam Fit Studios on the show yesterday, and we were talking about how her work takes its form in the head and is not about the number on the scale, and it's not about the size of the clothes that you fit into. It's about creating a happiness within yourself and a peace within yourself and a strength in yourself
yes,
that then allows you to take appropriate action should you require. Should you require
yes,
is the important
that's exactly it, Dani. Yeah,
sentence. And should you need to.
yeah,
And self-care and self-love are the two things that, particularly, I know there's some men watching, but particularly as women and even as men, I guess, because self-love and self-care is not something that we have built foundations on through our childhoods and on into our adulthood. So when we start to look after ourselves or to love ourselves, it feels, especially for British people, feels a bit weird, feels a bit self-indulgent, and it feels a bit strange. And there are so many constructs that particularly women and more so men now, like we're getting the whole dad bod thing being thrown in as a bit of a slur, and all of this sort of around how we look, around our weight, particularly, again, around our hair. We've got to be looking after our hair because it's our crowning glory. If you
yeah,
actually start to look at, advertising, how many shampoo adverts do you see? How much pressure is put on us to, mind ourselves in a particular way?
yes.
You and I both don't fit into certain social constructs around how we should look, in inverted commas, and that would be our weight. And I know you won't mind me talking about
Oh,
that.
absolutely. I describe myself as short, fat, and bald, so
Yeah,
we're all
well,
good with that.
not fat, not bald, but I'm medium size, average. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. We don't fit into the cookie cutter of what, say, a magazine should say we look like. That said, you featured in a magazine just this weekend talking about your particular journey around your weight.
Yes, I did. And also, just to
Tell us
take you
about
back a stage, because what I realised is it's that whole piece about how we should look. But what I realised, Dani, is that the next bit after that, it's not only about how we should look, it's about what we're told we're supposed to want to look like, which
yeah,
is just a little step further forward, isn't it, from that, or further back from that. So it was not only as women we're supposed to be tall and slim and have long swishy hair, but we're supposed to want that as well. And that was, for me, the turning point after I lost my hair, is to realize, hang on a minute, I think that I'm crying about going bald because I think that's how I'm supposed to react to this. I'm supposed to be devastated that this has happened to my head.
right.
And actually, I then made myself take a proper look at myself and thought, I think this actually suits me.
I'm
I think
hot.
I look great. Who knew? So it's that moment where you realise, do I really feel about myself the way I think I feel about myself? Or is it
Yeah.
because that's how I've been told I'm supposed to feel about. So it's quite a thing to unpick, but that's why the book's called How to Feel Beautiful. It's not about how to be beautiful, because being beautiful, of course, it's subjective. Some people will think that you and I are beautiful, and some people won't think we're beautiful, and that's fine. But feeling beautiful, there's no one else's opinion comes into that. That's for us to own. So I just thought I would add that to the conversation before we go on to talk about the magazine, because it's such an important next part of the thinking. It's not only about how are women told we're supposed to look, but it's about how are we supposed to want to be changing ourselves and looking and feeling about our bodies. So yes, I was in a magazine over the weekend. I was in You magazine on Sunday.
Casual national magazine.
I know, right? Exactly.
So tell us a bit more about that article, because that article speaks specifically around weight and not hair loss.
Yes, right? It does, exactly. So that was it was a piece that I saw. A journalist was kind of saying, have we got anybody who wants to speak about specifically having been thinner, having been fatter, and actually happier fatter than thinner? And I was like, yes, please. So I got married 3 years ago and lost 5 stone for my wedding. I went from a size 22 to a size 12.
And so many women do this, don't they? Particularly around weddings, particularly around when when they get married or a life event, they're like, I've got to lose lots of weight. It's got to be a life-changing amount of weight. I can't possibly be a fat bride. It's got to be, the worst thing a woman can be is a fat bride.
I know, right? Which goes back to that whole rhetoric around what we are supposed to want to look like. And so whilst, initially when I lost the weight, of course, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting all these compliments. I look amazing. Look how thin I am. Look at the clothes I can wear. Blah, blah, blah. Actually, that wore off quite quickly for me. And as I said in the article, I found that I almost felt like my body had become public property. Everyone had a comment to make about it. Everybody, almost all the comments I had were positive. You've lost so much weight. You look amazing. And that sentence in its entirety is so loaded. It's like, so what happens if I put the weight back on again? What are you going to think of me then? What did you think of me? Exactly. And my children at the time were 8. I've got twins, and they were hearing people come up to their mum all the time. You've lost so much weight. You look amazing. So what's that telling them? I felt this massive pressure to make myself look amazing, to meet what everyone was saying. So suddenly I'm going on the school run and I feel like, oh my God, I've got to put my makeup on. What am I wearing? And because everyone's looking at me and talking about my weight loss. And exactly. So it was really high pressure. There was a lot of justifying myself to people about how I'd lost the weight and whether I was going to put it back on again. And then, of course, the irony is that I did put it all back on again because of the steroids of, after my hair fell out, and the comfort eating after my hair fell out. So that's really what the piece was about, was I've been fat, I've been thin, I've been fat again. And actually, thin wasn't the holy grail that I thought it was going to be. There was a lot of pressure that came with that, a lot of stress that came with that. And I am happier in my own body now back at a size 22 than I was when I was a size 12. And
it's that, isn't it? I was when we last did Be Inspired back in February, we had Lindsay McGlone, the famous fat feminist, was talking about body positivity and body acceptance. And actually, body positivity now has been taken really out of context. Body positivity now is actually more about the desire to look thin and being in transition, and the fact that we should always be in transition to be a, in inverted commas, better version of ourselves. The version of ourselves that we are right now isn't actually the best possible version in ourselves, because we've got to be always in transition, always working towards something with regards to how we look. And body acceptance actually is the very base level that we should expect from society, not just from ourselves. It's not easy to love yourself every day. Like, sometimes I look like a piece of shit, and I'm like, I walk past the mirror and I'm like, whoa, don't even know who that is, not me. But I accept that who I am is okay. I accept who I am is acceptable, and it isn't anybody else's business really what I choose. And if I want to be different, then that's fine. But
Yeah.
what's the motivation for that? Where's that coming from? Is it actually, what is that next bit? And it's the same, I guess, with weight loss goals. If people do have weight loss goals, which is absolutely cool as well, the pursuit of happiness isn't necessarily always the destination.
Yeah.
So when you get there, nobody stays at the top of Mount Everest, just like you. You got there, and you're at the top of, in inverted commas, a lot of people's Mount Everest. Oh my God, I would kill to be your size. I would kill to be able to have the stamina or the willpower or whatever it is that you need that's painful to get to where it is that you are. I want to be able to endure that kind of pain and deprivation. Like you think, what? Like, is that the destination? Do you want pain and deprivation? Is that where you want to be? In order, like, no, we don't. Like, there's
That's
got
exactly
to be
it, yeah.
other ways to feel right. And that acceptance is such a baseline. And one of the things that she said as well was really resonated with me. When somebody does lose weight, how can we change our language about it? Because yes, it does take a lot of doing. And how do we congratulate somebody, but actually congratulate them on the fact that they've achieved what they want to achieve, and not necessarily how they look right now?
Yeah.
Is probably one of the better ways to go about it. What do you think about that, Lizi? Do you think that would be the right way to go?
Yeah, I think so. I think that one of the things we need to try to get out of the habit of doing is making assumptions that we think we know how other people must feel about their body, because of how we think we would feel if we were in their body too. So I think just a really easy thing to do is to change our comments into questions. How are you feeling about yourself at the moment? Right. Was that really hard work to do that? What prompted that change? Did you feel great about yourself? Because then we can know, because, it's not only about, obviously I speak from the kind of my truth as a fat woman, but I have lots of women in my online community who are at the opposite end of the scale and also have regular comments being made about their skinny bodies from women who imagine what it must be like to be in that body. Yeah. And actually it's hard for them because the things that are being said to them and about them don't reflect the way they feel. That's right.
Are you sure you want to lose any more weight? And then
exactly, or even that, oh my goodness, you're so lucky, I'd do anything for your figure. When that is said to you, I've got a really good friend who suffers from Crohn's, and she lost a lot of weight through illness, and she had a lot of people saying to her, you look amazing, you've lost so much weight. She's like, but I look like this because I'm really, really ill. So that was hard for her to be getting praise for what happened to her body as a result of illness. So I think when we make a conscious choice to stop commenting and start asking, that's a really simple way to just make a difference to the way people are feeling about themselves, and to just really hear, just really listen, because there will be women who have lost weight and feel amazing. They'll feel proud, they'll feel, a massive sense of achievement. But before you assume that's how they feel, you just need to ask.
Yeah, and comments to questions, that is so powerful as a way, because if somebody has gone through essentially a transformation, would it be wholly ignorant to ignore it, especially if it's a close friend? But instead of applying what you believe about that situation to that person, draw from them what they have found from it, because you might need to support them. They might go, actually, I'm really sick, oh fucking hell, come here, give me a cuddle, instead of like immediately just kind of ticking off the boxes of, oh God, you look amazing. That's how I
she must be happier. Yeah.
And
it's funny because I then experience the same thing all over again with the hair loss, because I still have people make the absolute assumption that the best thing they can possibly say to me is to tell me that it will probably grow back. I don't want it to grow back. If it grows back, I'm shaving it off. And again, what we're doing every time, whether it's talking about someone's weight, someone's hair, someone's baldness, is we are kind of putting on that person the way we imagine we would feel if we were living in their body. And it's a really human thing to do. We all do that, but we need to check ourselves a little bit when we are doing that. Think, no, actually, that's me. That's my story that I'm imposing on them. It might not be their story.
Absolutely, absolutely. So interesting and such a wonderful way to look at it. Now, you were telling us, like as well as the alopecia, you have an immune deficiency. I want to get this right. An immune
Yeah,
deficiency
yeah,
situation. Now, how has that affected you through Corona? Because at the beginning, there were lots of people that were going, well, it's just the flu. It's just the flu. It's all right. It's not going to affect me. So I'm going to go out and do my thing. And because if I get the flu, then that's okay. And
yeah.
that I, being your friend and seeing, how you had to respond to the situation for yourself and for your family was not the case at all. Talk us through, this particular point in history, because it's affected you very, very directly and very, very, the people that could just pop in the car and pop off here, there and everywhere. That has not been the case for you, has it?
No, it really hasn't. So, in a nutshell, the condition I've got is called a primary immune deficiency. It means that I don't produce antibodies. So once a week, I have a blood infusion from other people. I literally use other people's antibodies. Once a week, I sit in front of the telly, I stick 4 needles into my stomach, I pump other people's antibodies in, and that lasts me for a week. And of course, that keeps me alive. That helps me to fight off certain illnesses and infections, but it's not the same as having your own fully working immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So I am still very susceptible to any kind of infection you can imagine. I've had pneumonia over 10 or 15 times in my life. And so, of course, it won't surprise you to know that people with my condition are in the extremely vulnerable category. And in the category of people who had letters telling them they should be shielding. Before all of those letters started going out and the categories were decided, 1 week before all the schools closed and we entered life kind of as we know it now, I made the decision to withdraw my kids from school kind of a week earlier, and to ask my husband to take 3 months off work. So my husband works for the NHS, delivering equipment into people's homes who have kind of come out of hospital and things like that. So he's with a lot of vulnerable patients, ill patients. It's not a job that can be done from home. He's literally in a van driving around with equipment. Yeah. And so we had to make a really tough decision for him to take 3 months unpaid leave, and to pull the kids out of school, to kind of put up the shutters and to barricade ourselves in. And for me to be making my family live like that because of being scared for my own life, it was a hard it wasn't a hard decision to make because I was so scared. It felt like the only decision.
Yeah, you've got no choice, have you? You're being
told,
exactly. This is probably for you. If you find yourself exposed to this at the level at which we are experiencing, that is not going to end well for you and your immune system. So it is a no-brainer to say, right, well, okay, this is not just the flu to you. This is what so many people that have had to shield themselves in such a way have found themselves. And it can, like, it is so frivolous of other people to just go, it's not just going to affect me. But actually, yeah, it is. By you're going out and doing your thing, actually you're making it worse, and you're having to stay in longer.
Exactly.
People are bloody well listening. Oh, it made me
feel no, it is. It is really upsetting when you see people just kind of nonchalantly posting on Facebook, oh, I don't believe all this stuff, I'm just, it's going to be fine. And I think, well, every single one of you who makes that decision to just kind of ignore the guidance and just say, well, it's just a flu, so even if I get it, I'll probably be fine.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry. It's only people with underlying health conditions that die. Well, that's me, mate.
That's right. Exactly.
That's not all right.
Yeah. When you kind of get put in this box of, well, it'll only be those people, so it's all right. That's quite hard to hear. And I think people don't realise, obviously, what they're saying when that comes out of their mouth. So yeah. And my twins are in year 6, so a lot of their classmates have gone back, and I've had to say to them, I'm really sorry, but you can't, and that's been hard as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you've done lots of different things during lockdown that have actually been really lovely. So like, and just as a friend watching on, I haven't necessarily kind of been involved with any inbox around this, but like celebrating Passover together, like on Zoom, and celebrating, you know, birthdays. The twins have had their birthday whilst it's
Yeah.
been on. And am I right? Did you have a drive-by parade? Was it somebody that did? Was you did a drive-by parade?
Yeah, loads of my friends just decorated their cars with banners and balloons and went and pulled up outside the house blasting a bit of Stevie Wonder out at them.
It's
And
like your own
it
little
was
carnival.
it was so lovely. Yeah, it was really lovely.
And for people that, you know, would have had like a normal birthday, actually looking back, to have had that is a different kind of memory that you may not have been blessed with, you know,
Yeah,
being in any other situation. Like, how many
absolutely.
other people can, like, when we're out of lockdown, like, I had a birthday, I had a drive-by carnival for my birthday. What did you do? You know,
Exactly.
it's when they look back, and you know, we are a part of history right now. You know, they'll look back and it'll be, you know, when coronavirus hit, you know, the global pandemic of 2020, when the world went to shit. You know, we were in that. So to have nice memories that are as part of that time as well is just as important as, and you've
I
just been
agree. And there
so,
has been so much about this that I've loved. You know, if you just ignore for a minute everything that's gone on, you know, beyond my front door, you
yeah,
know, our garden has never looked so lovely before because my, you know, my hubby's really handy and green fingered and it's looking gorgeous. And, you know, the kitchen's been decorated and we've just had some really nice time just being together.
yeah.
I'm amazed at how well hubby and I have got on for 3 months. Don't tell him I said that. But
I'm not saying a word, like, don't, and like, don't tempt fate, but it is the fact that you've come together. Do you think it, you know, do you think that you might have got on together because of like the potential peril on the outside, and you've just appreciated each other more? Is that, do you think that what that might be? Or is it just that you've just got on with it and gone, okay, this is our situation, let's make the fucking best of it?
yeah, I think it's the latter really. We've just kind of, well, we're at home. How are we going to use this time well? And, you know, let's maybe put our time into, as I say, making our home nicer for everyone, doing all the things that we keep saying one day when we've got time. And also just discovering that we quite like just being
Like
in
each
each other's
other.
company, just
Who
pottering
knew?
about. And exactly, because you know, you never do that, do you? You never spend 3 solid months in the pocket of the person you've chosen to spend your life with. So it's a bit of a
Well,
test.
in fairness, because with IATQB we'd taken the decision to, like, well, this was going to come out of employment in the biblical sense, and it was going to come and work within the business. Actually, we took a run up to we took a bit of a run up to lockdown. So the
Yeah.
only thing that we've had thrown into the mix is the kids, and the fact that we've
Yes.
moved me upstairs. Now I'm just like, I'm stuck in my bedroom doing all of these fabulous things, but in my bedroom doing it. I was in the front room doing it beforehand, so I've just kind of moved locations.
Yeah.
And then he's downstairs on his computer. So like we've now got to get our head around, how do we break out of that, because it's too much for too long? How do we get out of that, like, spending time together?
No, that's so true. And you know, my husband went back to work Monday last week. His 3 months were up, and obviously
Yeah,
being unpaid, he couldn't just say, "I'll have another month, please."
yeah,
So, and I did find it really hard. I had a few days before he went back where I really got myself in a bit of a state, and it wasn't actually because I was worried about him catching the virus and bringing it home. It was just because I've got so used to us being in this little unit, and he is such a source of strength for me.
mm.
Um, and I kind of thought, well, if he's going back to work, who's going to be the grown up? And
Yeah.
it was absolute panic that means it's got to be me again.
Oh God.
So.
So what does coming out of lockdown look like for you? Do you have a plan yet? What have you got plans around work and what you're doing? I also want to talk in a minute about your TEDx talk that you did, because I'm so proud of you. You just absolutely smashed it up. But tell us about what's coming up for you. Do you know what that plan looks like for your escape, so to speak, your reintegration with the world once more?
Well, kind of in work terms, actually not a lot had to change because most of my one-to-one coaching I do via Zoom anyway. So I've still been able to keep on working with women on a one-to-one basis, working on their confidence, the way they feel about themselves. And actually, it's been more needed now than ever. People's
Right.
confidence has taken such a massive knock.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, in terms of the other part of things, the kind of speaking, that's had to be pulled back a bit. So in terms of coming out of the other side of this, it's going to be exciting to start looking now at more of sort of what speaking opportunities are out there, what stages are calling me. Apparently, and I have to say, I've been avoiding all of the kind of government briefings and the news and everything, but I heard last night that shielders are being told it's been extended. It was meant to be shielding until June the 30th. I believe, no one please quote me on this, go away and check it before you, but I believe it's been extended to the end of July, and that shielding officially ends on the 1st of August. I mean, I have to say, I haven't been following shielding to the letter, because a couple of times I've been and sat in my mum and dad's garden, and shielders aren't even meant to be within 2 meters of people in their own home. I mean, that's, I haven't got a west wing, unfortunately. So, but I think the 1st of August is essentially when they're saying that for people in my category, that's when you can go back to work if you're, in a workplace, but you need to go. And I think probably the next thing I'm a little bit anxious about is September, when my two both start secondary school, and there is absolutely no way on God's earth I will be stopping them from going to the beginning of their year 7 time at school. So I feel like that will then possibly I suppose pose a bit more of a risk for me again, that we'll have to manage and think about and evaluate. So it's kind of, I'm feeling really in two minds about it. I'm excited at the idea of all this madness kind of coming to some sort of end, but equally I've got this really safe, cozy little bubble that I'm in, and that's going to have a little pin popped in it soon. So
I think that the resilience that you have, and the phenomenal person that you are, it is, in anybody's situation, particularly yours, it is just you making those decisions as and when you get to them. You can only deal in what you know at the time, can't you? And just like, actually, when we last saw each other, we saw each other at Will Manifest. It was incredible. But like, lockdown started the week after that, and you made decisions for you and your family, and it's the same. It'll be the same on the other side of it. Then you do what feels safe to you at the time it feels most safe to you, and then make your decisions accordingly. And until that time, you can only be in dealing real and dealing what's happening right now. And you do that beautifully. You do that beautifully. You don't need me to like blow smoke up your ass to tell you that. You know that.
No, it's fine. Keep blowing. It's all good.
So let's talk TEDx, because I'm so effing proud of you. It's just incredible. You secured a TEDx talk. For anybody that doesn't know, TED stands for Technology, Education and Design. Technology, Entertainment and Design is a huge company who allow platforms, or who create platforms for people who have an idea worth spreading, to spread their idea. So it's quite a coup to get a TED or a TEDx talk. Now, a TEDx talk is like TED's little sister. So you can only be invited to do a TEDx talk, but you can apply to do a TEDx talk. So you have to be chosen to share in like a local instead of a global environment, your idea worth spreading. But if they love your idea worth spreading, then you go on the YouTube channel and you have all this like potential traction out there. It's such a massive thing to be able to do. And you did it.
I did do it.
Tell us about it. Tell us about the process. Tell us about how that happened. How did you find it? Because you didn't do it in the normal way. Of course you didn't.
Of course not, no. So ever since I first learned what a vision board is, I have had TEDx on my vision board for about 3 years now. And I kept on making excuses not to apply, telling myself that, I wasn't the right person, and I didn't know enough, and I had never been trained as a speaker, and I didn't have, the things we tell ourselves, right? And then I just decided I was going to give it a go. Just, what have you got to lose? So I applied for TEDx in Peterborough. And that was kind of towards the end of last year, around the same time that I'd written my book, which had given me that little boost of confidence that I knew actually I do have something to say to the world. And I didn't hear anything from them. I thought, oh, all right, they didn't want me. Okay, fine. Then I saw that there was a TEDx at the University of Essex, and being an Essex girl, it's like, nice and local for me. And I think a lot of TEDx events, they do like that local link if possible. So I put myself forward for that as well. And then a few weeks later, I heard from TEDx Peterborough and TEDx Essex saying, yes, please, we want you. So after 3 years of thinking I didn't have what it took, I landed 2 at once.
You're a no-brainer.
Luckily, I pitched different talks to the 2 of them. Otherwise, that would have been awkward.
So you've got 2 TEDx talks now.
Yes, I did.
Stop it,
I know, right? Just I throw that in there. TEDx Peterborough was meant to be at the beginning of May, and TEDx Essex at the beginning of June. Peterborough decided that obviously we all went into lockdown, and they decided they have postponed. So that will happen when it happens. TEDx University of Essex decided to take a much different approach and run a virtual TEDx event, which hasn't been done often. It's quite sort of a trailblazing way of doing it. So at the beginning of June, I delivered my talk, and obviously part of this whole dream of having it on my vision board, it was about the whole event. It was, for anyone who's watched a TEDx, they will know. Yeah, they all look the same, even though they take place all over the world. There's a black stage and a red dot that you stand on with the TEDx branding behind you, and engaged audience in front of you, and that's part of the whole thing. And it won't surprise you, Dani, to learn I love an audience. Right? So I know you'll be amazed. So to be delivering the talk in my living room to my laptop screen, it felt a bit. But actually, now I've done it, I realise what an amazing experience and opportunity that was to be part of not only TEDx, but in that really unique way. It takes a few weeks for the talk to then be put onto the TEDx YouTube channel. So that only happened last week that it went live on YouTube.
And we're going to share that in the comments for anybody.
Please do, yeah.
So we're going to share that in the comments for anybody that wants to go and watch it. You need to go and watch it because she smashes it. She's brilliant.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, you can find it just by going on YouTube, typing in my name and TEDx, and it'll come up. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. And I was talking about identifying as beautiful, which I have to actually just give full credit to my amazing friend Rachel Berg, who is an Instagram queen and a copywriting queen. She's got this amazing way of finding the right words for things. I can tend to be a bit wordy, which again I'm sure won't surprise you. She's really good at taking my paragraphs and putting them down into this is the essence of it. And I was talking to her about, this is the talk I'm giving, and it's all about kind of feeling like you're beautiful, and even in a world that says you're not beautiful. And she said, I think you're talking about identifying as beautiful. And that suddenly struck me as so powerful, because actually we're in this world where, thank God, people can identify however you want to. And that's, and that's accepted, and that's hopefully by and large respected and honoured. And actually identifying as beautiful felt like this huge taboo, and it is exactly what I do. I call myself beautiful even though I don't fit into all these boxes. Just like someone might call themselves female even though they don't tick into certain boxes, or whatever. So I loved when she suggested this idea to me. That's what I ran with. And the title of my talk ended up being Identifying as Beautiful is an Act of Courage and Defiance. And that's what I spoke about. It's about defying that I don't care what the world says beautiful is. About identifying as beautiful.
It's so powerful. It is so powerful. And it's so needed and so necessary. And when we talk about TED and TEDx being an idea worth spreading, is that not an idea worth spreading if ever we heard one? Like, tell me in the comments. They're going like mad for it. They love it.
Oh, I love it. Great.
It is such an important message, how you identify in many different ways. But, when you do identify as beautiful, when you choose that for yourself, when you just accept that of yourself, regardless of what exactly you look like, how close your eyes are together, or how big your mouth is, or what your hair looks like, or whatever.
Yes.
When you identify that, it is an act of defiance, and in that there is strength, and in that there is being able to move forward and then think about other things.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
think about how you're going to change the world or how you're going to help people and all of that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
But
Which is another thing I talk about, is the energy that women put into trying to change the way they look. And when I talk about energy, I'm talking about financial energy and emotional energy and physical energy and spiritual energy. And we put
freeing
so
up all this
much of it in.
bandwidth.
Yeah, that's it. Into, oh God, I've got to look different. When you retrieve all that energy and think, actually, don't think I'm going to give that to the mirror anymore.
Yeah.
It's really powerful, because you
Wow.
so much opportunity to use it in different ways.
Just amazing. Okay, so we're going to pop in the comments, or Lizi, feel free to pop in the comments a link, or if one of you wants to go and grab it, pop it in the comments, the link to Lizi's TED Talk. Just as a reminder again, you can get hold of her book on Amazon right now. It's like, stop what you're doing, go and grab her book, model it for me. There it is. Look at the side of the screen, just How to Feel Beautiful by the incredible Lizi Jackson-Barrett. Please do, if whatever we've spoke about this morning has resonated with you and you feel like you need some help in that particular area, Lizi is definitely your girl. How can we hang out with you a little bit more? Because that, like, we've not got enough of you yet. We need more.
For Lizi to go around. There's lots
Yeah.
of it. Well, if you want to hang out with me, probably the best place to do that is on my Facebook group, which is cunningly called How to Feel Beautiful. I know, it's as if I planned it. And actually, it's a group that it does talk a lot about feeling beautiful, what that means, body confidence, but actually it covers a lot more about confidence in general. It's almost exclusively a women only space, but not entirely, because anyone who wants to be there can be there. So we do have some men there as well. But it's just a place where we just have conversations about confidence, about feeling like you're enough, about how to just shift the way we feel about ourselves and treat ourselves. So come over to my Facebook group.
And all the doors that could unlock when you address that bit of yourself as well, which is
yes, exactly. Oh, look at all these lovely people sharing links for me, so I don't have to go and look for them. Thank you, Jess. Thanks, Emma. Thanks, Lee. You lot are awesome.
So, Lizi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am honoured to be your friend and honoured to be connected with you. Thank you so much to Lee Howes. We'll be having Lee on the show in the next couple of weeks as well, which I'm super excited about. If she's not booked on already, Lee, I want to know why haven't you? We need to speak on the show. So yeah, thank you, Lizi, so much for joining us. Please do go and check out all of Lizi's incredible work. Lizi Jackson-Barrett. Everybody, I love you. I'll see you soon. So that was Lizi Jackson-Barrett, everybody. What an incredible show this morning. What an absolutely phenomenal human being she is. And the work that she does is just so important. When you think about that. Think about some of the things that we said this morning. Imagine a bandwidth that you would have to work on the things that you really want to work on, to took some of that pressure off of yourself and put that energy into the things that you want to create. By being defiant and by identifying as beautiful. Take that pressure and that time off of that space, off of the mirror, and put it into all those incredible things you guys want to achieve. That's probably one of the most powerful messages we've had on the show at Wise Advice. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Dylan. I want to get my ticket for being inspired in September. Please can you post a link? I think I missed it. Thank you. Yes, I can. I will do it directly after the show. If you do want to get hold of us, be inspired. We are limited to 65 so that we can socially distance. What is Be Inspired? It is our celebration, motivation, and inspirational real life event that's happening in Manchester on the 10th of September, and you are invited. £69. We've got 10 incredible speakers, all of which are graduates from my program, so you know you're going to get some absolutely phenomenal speakers. They are absolutely phenomenal. I know what they are speaking about. I know what they're going to be sharing with you. You get lunch, you get swag, you get to hang out with us, we get to have a dance and a play together, and it will be a nice way to kind of wrap up this whole weird COVID situation. I feel like Being Inspired has been like the bookend to this whole COVID situation, in that we had our last Being Inspired on the 27th of February, just to start before we started to lock down, and we will be on the other side if we're allowed to start gathering once more. If you do want to get a hold of us to Be Inspired, please do pop Be Inspired in the comments, and I will make sure that I will give you the link. There are only 65 available, then we are sold out, and that is so that we can make sure that this is Rise Up show coming up tomorrow. We have the fabulous right joining us, talking about all things social media marketing. We also have coming up on Thursday the unstoppable woman that is Heidi Neighbour. Don't miss that. She's going to be talking to us about advocacy and all of the incredible things she's been up to. She's a roller coaster 12 months. It's going to be really inspirational. And then, of course, on Friday, one of our show regulars in terms of who watches out there, we've got the fabulous Ian Dixon, who's an absolute superstar in the world of business. He's going to be sharing with us all of his favourite business tips. Right, you guys, have an incredible day. Have Tuesday to you all. Thanks for joining us on the Trouble by the Rabbit Show. Make sure you, if you are not already, are a member of the IATQB Hive, which is my free community group where we carry on the conversation. You can find that in Facebook by searching IATQB Hive, and also make sure you follow me on the Instagram, the Queen of Dani, all the way across social. And I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Don't miss if you are on the Queen of Dani page. I will be going live then with you today, giving you some more bits of juicy gossip around the Rockstar Level Up Mastermind. Join me then as well at 2 o'clock this afternoon for a little 10-minute chat with the fabulous James. Have an incredible day, you guys. I love you. See you later.